call with me, I do have Charlene. Charlene, you want to say hi?
Hi, everyone. I'm Charlene, the account executive here at Marquee 360.
Thanks. Charlene will be following up with you all after the webinar. Stella, you want to say hello?
Sorry. My name is Stella Salome, and I am a solutions architect here at Marquee 360.
Awesome. Thanks, Stella. Thanks, Charlene. All right, so a little bit about how today's going to go. I'm going to give you a quick overview about Marquee 360. And Charlene is going to talk about the new Microsoft Planner. And then Stella is going to talk about the very specific differences between basic and premium plans and then actually show you those differences in a demo. So about Marquee 360, so we are a Microsoft partner for project and portfolio management and cloud innovation. So what that means is we work with the Microsoft 365 platform to eliminate all your manual processes and redundancies and give you automated workflows so that your team can focus on the work that matters versus having to take up time with all those manual day-to-day task workload. And where we really focus on is the project management space. Our team has been working with Project Server, Project Online, and now Planner for most of their career. So we have a lot of experience and have built solutions based off of best practices that they have learned throughout the years and customers' most asked functions and features we put into our solution, so it's easy to implement, it's quick, and you get what you need right away. With that, our company focuses on innovation. Like I said, we work on the Microsoft 365 platform, and that's changing a lot almost daily. So we do work closely with the Microsoft product team and learn what their roadmap is, and we stay up to date and make sure that you're getting all the latest technology from Microsoft and getting the most out of your Microsoft investment. We also focus on customer success. So when we do an implementation, we work closely with your team at the beginning for requirements gathering and make sure that what we're doing fits your business requirements. And then we work with you throughout the implementation and then post-implementation with support, training, workshops. Even after you're done your implementation and you're up and running, we do help with training your team. If you're having trouble with adoption, if you need some enhancements, we're always happy to help, and we like our engagements to be more like partnerships with you. And I'm gonna pass it over to Charlene to talk about the new Microsoft Planner.
Thanks, Erin. So this is going to be Microsoft's newest product offering. Microsoft has invested a lot of research and development into making the work management experience easier. So they took Microsoft To Do, Microsoft Planner, and Project for the Web and have combined it into this new planner to make everything really accessible in one tool. Go to the next slide. Thanks. So the new planner is going to bring together a lot of functionalities from To Do and Project and integrate really nicely with Outlook, Teams, OneDrive, all the other tools in the Microsoft ecosystem that you may already be using. And then they're also bringing in a lot of AI advancements into Planner to help automate a lot of your processes. And then I'll go ahead and pass it to Stella, and she'll get into some of the differences between basic and premium plans for you.
Hi, everyone. Okay, so today we are going to be getting into Planner and comparing the basic versus premium. So here we should have a quick view of what a basic plan would look like. As you can see here, we're going to go more into this. And then if you go into the next slide, we're going to see what a premium plan would be like. As you can see here, once again, we'll go into more into this. We'll talk about how to convert a basic to a premium as well. And then if we go to the next slide, we have a really nice Venn diagram here that's going to show you the main features in basic versus premium. And then here in the middle, we can see the features that we get in both basic and premium. So as you can see here, you're going to get a lot more features with the premium, and we'll dive into those today. We'll also dive into some of the weird things that we're going to see in basic versus premium. Like, for example, the task limit in basic is actually 9,000 lines. And in premium, we're going to see the task limit is 1,000. Microsoft has said that 1,500 task limit for premium will be coming soon, though. We're also going to have recurring tasks with basic, which we won't have in premium. So we'll go into those as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we'll dive into our demo. Okay, so I'm going to start by just a quick overview. So here in what I'm sharing, I have Planner in the basic Planner app, as you can see here. As we know, we can access Planner from the basic app. So if I go to my waffle here in the corner, we can see Planner. I'll click on Planner and this is what it would look like. However, in this other browser, I have Planner within Teams. So we can see here that we can add a tab directly within Teams, and we're going to get the same view. Now, why do I show this specifically? Because sometimes as Planner is releasing updates, we're going to see that some features will be added in the Teams Planner first and then extend to the app. So a great example of this is we're going to see this here called My Portfolios. Now, this may be a feature that you may only see right now in Planner Teams, which will then extend into the app here soon, or you may not even see it at all yet. So this is general preview, only some specific people get it, but we'll still cover at the end of today's session as well. So starting here, we're going to see that I have my day, and this is going to show me all the tasks that are due today. So it's December 12th, and these are the ones that are due today here across which plans. So these are all tasks from different plans, as you can see here. If I navigate to my tasks, we're going to see all my tasks that I'm assigned across all project plans. As you can see here, I can sort by different plans as well, and then I can search too. So for example, if I search for conduct planning workshop, it'll bring me to this task, as you can see here. Now I also have some filters applied here. So progress, I'm showing all the ones that are not started or in progress, but I could choose to have completed added here as well. But I want to focus on what I still need to do. So I have filtered out completed on this view. Now in my plans here, I'm going to see a combination of my basic and premium plans, sometimes indicated here by one of these icons, as you can see. So we have a premium plan versus a basic plan here. And then I have all my recent plans from this top. Once again, I can search, for example, for a plan name here. And I'm going to see my recent plans first. I can see the ones that have been shared, my personal plans, ones that I have pinned, which are just the ones right here as well. And then ones from my teams, my team's channels here as well. And we're going to see that you are going to be able to link plans to teams, which we'll see here as well. We'll cover my portfolios at the end. So let's go ahead and create a new plan. Now, when you're creating a new plan, you're going to ask yourself, does this need to be a basic or premium plan? So here from the bottom left, we'll select new plan. And it's going to ask us if we want to do basic, premium, and then it's also going to give us some basic and premium templates as a starting point. So Microsoft has a really great article here that compares basic plan versus premium plan and all of the features here. I'm going to drop this very useful link into the chat for everyone for reference. And we'll go through these features during today's demo. So as I said here, we have our basic and premium templates. If I say see all templates here, I can go through them and see the key benefits for each one. And we can see that some, like a simple plan, is going to be just a basic, versus project management, this comes in basic and premium. So when I switch to premium, I can see what this would look like here versus the basic. So we have one for software development, commercial construction, for example. So it will populate these tasks if we chose to use one of these templates. Now, there are more templates that should be coming as Planner continues to expand, but these are the ones currently available. Now, for our purposes, we are going to start by creating a basic plan, and then we'll look at how to convert that to a premium plan. So I'm going to pick a basic plan because in my instance today, we're going to say that I need a plan where I can have more than, let's say, 1,000 tasks, and the tasks don't depend on each other. So I'm going to name my plan here. I can choose to add it to my pinned plans or not, and I can choose to relate it to a group. So I can choose to relate to existing one, or after I create it, I can choose to create a specific group for the plan. So I'm going to go ahead and select create, and it's going to take me directly to my board view where I have a default to-do bucket. I'll navigate to my grid view here, and I'm going to see 8 columns here. These are my default columns, and I can start to build my project schedule. And here are my assignments. I can assign these to people. Now I want to point out some of the key differences from basic and premium. So we're going to see here that I'm limited to only these 4 columns, and I can't drag and drop my tasks in different orders. I also can't make them depend on each other. So let's say, for example, I have this start date of today for this task, and I say this is going to finish today. In premium, we can add dependencies where it would automatically, let's say, for example, if I did task 1 finish to start on 2, this one would start as soon as task 1 finishes. Here I have an area for buckets. So right now it's only showing to do. Let's say I add a critical tasks. Now that bucket will appear as an option 2. Here in progress, I can say not started, in progress, or completed. This is going to be one of the main differences between a basic and premium because we're going to have a percent complete column in premium versus here, we can only say not started, in progress, or completed. And as on the task, my tasks area here, we'll see that that's also going to read back as users who are assigned to the task update their progress. So we have a question here. Where is a good place to learn and understand the difference between teams and groups and how plans fit into each? That's a really good question. We actually have a really good handout on that we can provide on this. So Aaron, if you can make a note of that, I can send you that to send out with the video. But essentially, when you create teams, you also get an Outlook group for that. And then is basic and premium are the templates, or it can also tie to the license? That's a great question. So for basic plan, it's going to be, you need a plan 1 license. And for a premium, you need a plan 3 license. So if you have a plan 3, you can use a basic or premium, but if you have a plan 1, you can only create basic plans. So it does tie to the license. Okay, so moving on here, we also have priority. Awesome. And then we can list this one as important, and I can also add labels here. So say add a pink label here. I can rename this to critical. I can go ahead and assign this task to other people, such as Charlene, and this is going to sync with your AD. So anyone present in your AD, you can assign a task to. Now, when I assign a task to someone who's not myself, this is what's going to ask me if I want to add a group or not. So if I want to add a group, I need to, before I can assign this to someone, I want to add a group here. So I can add to an existing group, or I can create a new one. So we're going to go ahead and create a group, and let's say I'm also going to go ahead and just go ahead and add Mia to this as well. So I'm going to create the group. And now I can assign this task to anyone in my group. So we're going to set my start date and due date here. And so on. So in Basic, we have 4 primary views here. That's going to be our grid view, our board view, where we can drag and drop tasks. And I can group by bucket. I can group by assign to. So once again, I can drag and drop tasks to assign them to people. And then I also can group by progress. So right now, all of them are not complete, not started. If I want to make this one in progress, I can simply drop it in here and it will update that, as you can see here by this symbol. If I want to mark it as completed, I can drop it as completed too. As we can see here, I have a filter on that's still applied that's marking out completed. But once I include that back in, I can see it here. So everything that I can group by, I can also see the filter too. So if I want to say due date next week, it'll show me just those tasks this week and so on. So I can also group by due date, labels. Once again, if I drag and drop a task here, I'll add the label to it, and by priority as well. Once again, as I drag and drop tasks here, it's not going to make this task urgent. And this one will move from important to urgent as well. Now our schedule view is actually going to be something that we only have in the basic plan view. And in the schedule view, we can make tasks recurring. So let's say, for example, this task 1 needs to occur on a weekly basis. I can click on the task here, and under repeat, I can say make it occur weekly, daily, only on weekdays, monthly, yearly, or even custom as well. So if we click on custom, we can say repeat every week, month, year, and how often it occurs as well. So we can see here, and then month. So on the 2nd, for example, or on the 3rd Wednesday. So you have very custom options here when we're creating recurring tasks. Now this is going to be something we only get in basic and not premium for now. So I'm going to go ahead and make this occur weekly. And we're going to see now on my calendar how this task can repeat, as you can see here. Now, if I want to add a task on a specific date, I can do that as well by simply hovering that day, as you can see here. So let's say I want something due on the 23rd, and I can add a task directly here. I can also assign it directly here as well. And it's going to set the due date to here. I can also assign it to a specific bucket, so I'll go ahead and put it in critical tasks. I can add this task, and it will add it into my schedule as well. Now here on the right hand, we can see that my tasks grouped by priority. So I have a view of this in addition to my calendar, but I'm going to go ahead and group by bucket, and we'll see this will update here. Now I have my charts view as well, which is going to show me an overall status. So how many tasks, if I hover over, I have 1 completed, 2 in progress, 3 not started. And here I have my buckets. Once again, I can see that completed tasks are in green, in progress tasks are in blue, and not started are in black, or this gray. I also have priority and members here. So as I assign additional people to tasks, their names will appear here as well. Now we've gone over all of the views that you get with the basic plan. And now we're going to go ahead and convert this to a premium. Now, one of the things I mentioned is that my portfolios is right now available for general preview. And something that we have recently found is that this ability to convert from a basic to a premium plan is not yet available for everyone quite yet. So if it is available for you, you'll see this on a basic plan, you'll see this timeline option here with this little icon indicating it's premium. When I try to access this, it's going to ask me if I want to convert this to a premium plan. Clicking on this link is where you can get to that link that I dropped in the chat that compares the 2 plans. And here I can say, yes, convert now. If you don't see this option here at all, you only see the 4 views in a basic plan, we do have a workaround way that you can convert a basic into a premium. So if you aren't seeing this and you do have the need to convert basic to premium, go ahead and drop a note in the chat, and we'll cover the workaround at the end of the session if we have time. If not, we'll send out at least a 1-pager with instructions on how to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and say, yes, convert now. Now, sometimes it'll convert it to from a basic plan to a premium plan. And if it fails to do so, it'll just go ahead and create a copy of it as a premium plan. Doesn't typically take this long. There we go. So a copy of your plan is now premium. So here we go. So your plan couldn't be converted to premium, so a copy of it was created for you to try out. You can try to convert the plan for your team later. So the limitations on it are recurring tasks aren't supported. So as I mentioned, those are only available in basic. Now, if I didn't have a recurring task and I tried to convert it, chances are it would have just simply converted it rather than having to make a copy. But because there were some features that aren't supported in premium that I had in my basic, that's likely why it went ahead and made a copy of it instead. So now I'm going to go ahead and select Open Premium Copy. And now I have my premium view here. So as we can see here, we're going to get a lot more of these columns. And I even have the ability to add more columns too, as you can see here. So it made a copy of my schedule here and it named it copy. So I'm going to go ahead and rename this to premium and remove the word copy. Now, if you do this, what you'll want it to do is you'll want to go back and make sure that you delete that original version you have so you don't have two working versions of your schedule. Or if you do want to leave it, you might want to at least rename it to version 1 or something to indicate that it's not your most updated schedule. Now, something I mentioned when I was creating my tasks before is that we have here, I couldn't drag and drop them into a specific order, but now I can. So I'm going to go ahead and just drag this one back up here. Drag these in order. And now I'm going to add some dependencies to my tasks. So I'm going to go ahead and add my depends on column and drag it over here. I'm also going to go ahead and add another line here at the top, insert task above, project schedule. I'm going to add a summary task. And these will be my subtasks. So I'm going to click on this here and I'm going to make this a subtask. So all of my days and durations, effort, everything rolls up. And then I'm going to highlight these by dragging and dropping my mouse. And I'm going to make this a subtask and make it a subtask again. I'm going to go ahead and add my milestone. Which we know milestone tasks are by definition 0-day duration, 0-hour tasks. We'll go ahead and make this 0. And we can add another summary task here. Add some subtasks below. Once again, I'm going to want to take these here and make them a subtask. So all of this rolls up. So now we're going to see here that this is rolling up and it's telling me the first start date to the finish date and my tasks here, and then my total duration, which is 12. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add some dependencies. So I want task 2, which is line 4 here, to start after this one finishes. So I'm going to make this depend on 3. And we're going to see here that if I just click on this, it's going to do the regular finish to start. But we also have the option for advanced dependencies, as you can see here. So as I mentioned, finish to start is the go-to here. And we have a nice little diagram that shows us and tells us exactly what's happening. So task 4 can only start once task 3 finishes. And the delay type is immediate. Now let's say that I'm scheduling this and my customer has a week off or there's a holiday. I can make it lag by a specific time. So I can add lag by and say I want it to start 5 days after. And then I can add this. And then I also have some advanced dependencies that I mentioned as well, which we can look at here. So that's finish to finish. So task 5 can only finish once task 4 finishes. Start to start is task 5 can only start once task 4 starts. And then we have our start to finish, which is rarely used, usually in schedules, but task 5 can only finish once task 4 starts. And for all of these options, we have a lead by and lag by as well. So I'm going to go ahead and use our finish to start here and continue to add dependencies. So when I add this dependency here, it'll automatically assign the date that starts after here. So I'm going to get rid of these dates and let my dependencies set those dates. So I'll make this depend on 5, 6, 7, and then 8. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my columns that I like to see. So that's going to be effort, effort completed, effort remaining. I'll go ahead and hide this priority column here. Hide my bucket column as well for now. And then we can see the percent complete column. So as I mentioned, the basic plan, you only have the option to update from not started, in progress, or completed. But here we can actually say a specific percent and see the effort completed will update as well. So this one is 8 hours task in 1 day. And we can see that if I put here 25%, it's going to update my effort completed to 2 hours, indicating 25% of 8 hours. So it allows more granular control of your percent complete in this premium plan here. Now we can see here that for this task, I'm going to go ahead and make this depend on 9 here. We can see my dates are populating. And when I start to assign tasks to people here, so for myself, it's going to automatically give me effort hours as well. Okay. So we can see here we also have a quick look column, which is going to show us our task details. So when I click on this eye here next to a task, we're going to see all this information. And so, for example, if I have some checklist items here, which can be very useful for tasks, we're going to see that little icon is going to appear here indicating that I have a checklist column and how many are completed. So as I check some complete, we'll see this will update. So I have checklist items here. And if this window is closed, I can click on this here and see this come up. Now, another really key important thing for task details, which is really great, is task history. So using this little icon here, let's say that I change the date. So this here is 12/12. Let's say I want to change the date to start next week now. I can click on here and see my task history, and this is going to show me everything. So as you can see here, when it started, it was in one area and I drag and dropped it to another. So the outline number changed here. We can see the percent complete a minute ago. When it was done, I updated to 25%. I added a checklist item. I added item 1, item 2, item 3. So it's even telling me that individually. I completed checklist item 1. That was marked seconds ago. And then I changed the start date and when it was changed. So whether it be someone that you're assigning to on your team or yourself, this task history is very useful to see if a date changed. So let's say I assigned a task to someone and I noticed that the start date may have been changed. I can refer to that task history to see those. And as you can see here, I can exit out of the changes, but you can't delete or get rid of them. So they're always there. So this serves as an audit history at the task level.
Hey, Stella, we have a question. Is the portfolio folder on the left pane part of the basic or premium plan once it rolls out to all M365 users?
That's a great question. So they haven't, as you can see here, the licensing, basic plan, premium plan. If you look at the licensing, they actually haven't indicated if portfolios is going to be for which license yet. I'm assuming it'll be for all M365 users when it initially rolls out, and then they'll probably define which license it'll specifically be for after it's been out for a while. But they like to release things, let everyone have access to it. So you like it enough to get whatever license they essentially decide to make it as part of. So when it first rolls out, you should have access to it, Edward. Hopefully, they'll make portfolios available for everyone with Plan 1, since that's all you need to create basic plans. So once I have my schedule created, I can go ahead and set my baseline, which I can do here. So I'll select baseline here, create baseline, and it's going to give me a nice start, finish, baseline duration, and baseline effort. As we can see here, I can add a note. And it tells me who the baseline was set by, the date, and as you can see here, we can see baseline 1 Currently, this feature only allows you to set one baseline, but on the roadmap, Microsoft is going to be improving this with the capability to set multiple baselines throughout your project. And you can stay tuned for updates to baseline. So you can click on this learn more at the bottom here to see an article and stay up to date on those features as they roll out. So as Charlene and Aaron mentioned, there is a lot of research and development being put into Planner right now. So the great thing about using it is we're continuously getting updates. So I also have filters here on my main view. It's important to note that if I say show me tasks due next week, for example, and then I switch to a different view, that filter is still going to apply here as I switch from view to view, so it doesn't reset. Now, something very great about the premium is we do have many more columns, as you can see here, but in addition to that, we have the capability to create custom task columns. So by going add column and selecting new field, I can select if I want it to be a text, date, number, yes, no, or choice. So I'll go ahead and do choice and ask if it's a critical task. Make this yes, no, not applicable. And we can even assign colors as well to these. So I'll make yes, green, no, red, and not applicable, gray. When I create this, it's going to add it here. And I can always edit this. So if I edit it, I can delete it altogether. Or I can add an additional choice if I decide I need one later as well. And I can also hide this column and then add it back later. So once I have that, I can go ahead and start assigning this yes, no, and not applicable. So this is a great segue into my next feature here, which is going to be conditional coloring. So as you can see here, when you create a new custom task field, you have the ability to add some coloring to it, but we can also add coloring in a different way by applying conditional coloring. So using this conditional coloring feature here, I can apply this to any task name, assign to, start, finish, essentially any column type here. So let's say I want to say task name contains the word task, and I want to see that in pink. I want to see all the ones assigned to equals me in yellow. And I want to see ones that have a effort is less than or equal to 8. And I want to see this in green. So we can see that this is going to highlight that for us, and we can always change that conditional coloring by coming in here. So I can add a color or delete one that I've already created as well. Something else I want to point out before I start going to our other views is this great Copilot feature. So Copilot Preview is available with a premium plan we're going to see here, and it really works with the user to understand how the user works. So for example, in another area, I'm using Copilot in a cost field, and I continuously put 12,500 as my go-to cost. So it starts to recommend that to me. When I go to a cost field, it'll automatically recommend that to me. So here I can say create tasks for onboarding a new client. This is my recommendation. I can select this, and it's going to create some tasks for me in my schedule. And from there, we can see here it created these tasks for me. And then from there, I can choose to keep or edit these accordingly. I can also say, so right now I don't have any tasks, so I'll say which tasks are due next week. Will give me a list of my tasks that are due next week. So it tells me the task name, who it's assigned to, the date that it's due, the priority, and the current progress of completion as well. So it gives me a lot of information about my task. So if I wanted to send out an email, for example, to my team and say, here are tasks that are due next week, I could copy this into an email, and then I could mention everyone here, just as a reminder. However, once I assign them, they should be seeing them in my tasks as well, and they can turn on their notifications in the settings area down below under Planner to set reminders for their tasks when they're due as well. So once again, if you have any questions as we go through this, please feel free to add it in the chat or just, come off mute either way. So I'm going to go to my board view here, which is going to be basically the same thing we had in basic. However, our group by option here allows us to group by sprint and goals now too. So sprint is good for agile projects. So we can see here my default sprint that it's going to give me. So I can go ahead and drag and drop tasks into this sprint, and then I can create a new sprint as well. So I can say sprint 1, for example, and I want this to start on January 1st and go through the 31st. So once again, I can drag and drop tasks into here. And then our goals, we're going to see our goals area here. This is a new Microsoft feature that's been added. So I can add a goal, for example, that says finish task before deadline. I can add a new goal that says finish task under budget. And in my grid view here, I can actually add this goals column. And I can assign those goals that I just created here. And I can also just create a new goal from here as well. So back in my board view, once again, I can group by goal. So I can assign these goals by dragging and dropping. So I have a question for viewing the plans, either it is basic or premium. Does someone need a license? Like for the project, the lab allows users to view plan and mark % complete for the tasks they're assigned to. So reviewing the plans either. So they should be able to see their tasks with a Microsoft 365 license in the My Tasks area. But if they're wanting to create and manage a basic or premium plan, that's where they would need that Plan 1 or Plan 3 license. So I'm going to go back here, go back to my webinar premium plan here. I'm going to group by bucket. Once again, I can group by assign to and drag and drop tasks to assign them to people. Now I don't have my calendar view here as I did for the basic, but I do have a timeline view here. And on our timeline view, we can see all my tasks, and I can even drag and drop this to increase the duration. So for example, if I wanted to increase this to go from 16th to 21st, I would drag and drop it, which is obviously going to change since I have a lag by 5 days here, my dependency, it's going to see that, it's going to change. And it's going to move this out. I can also technically change my dependencies here by dragging and dropping what they depend on, which I would not recommend doing from this view. But you can simply increase the duration if you need to on your timeline here. We can also use our filters here to show critical path on our timeline. So for critical path, these are going to be the ones where if a task was delayed, it would affect the overall finish date of my schedule. So since all of them have dependencies here, we're going to see they're all part of our critical path. And I can also use this critical path filter down here to say critical path. So we're going to see it's going to get rid of all of these tasks that I added that don't have any dependencies and don't even have current start and finish date set. So they don't reflect the finish date of my schedule. I also have a ton of other filters such as assign to as well. So moving on to our charts view, we're going to have 3 charts here. So by status, bucket, and effort per person. So a little bit different. Here our bars are going up and down versus across in the basic plan view. And I also here have my people view. So here I can also drag and drop tasks to assign to people. And in this area here, we're going to see just the count of tasks that are incomplete versus late. For my view options here, I can say show it to me in hours. And right now I have compact mode turned on. But if I turn this off, we're going to see that's going to give me more task information. And it's also hiding completed tasks. So if I want to show completed tasks, it'll show that in here as well. So I can see the hours that have been complete, incomplete, and late. So once again, I can see this in hours or by number of tasks. And I can still drag and drop as well to assign to people. Here right now it's grouped by bucket. So we can see these tasks below are grouped by bucket. So to do critical tasks here, as you can see, but I can group by progress, finish date, labels, for example. So this one has a critical label, priority or goal. If I group by goal here, I can say these are in this goal, this one's in this goal. And I can also, once again, assign this task to this goal by dragging and dropping it. And it will also not only add the goal, but also assign it to Charlene. Once again, I have the same filters for this view as well. We briefly have already gone over the goals view. Okay, so we have another question. On the people view, does it access all projects across the organization or just projects I own or projects shared with me? So on the people view here, it's going to be just tasks for this project specifically. Does that answer your question, Edward? Okay. So assignments view is perhaps one of my favorite views. It's going to be very similar to our resource usage view that you'll see in Project Online for those who are familiar with that. To best utilize this view, I'm going to go ahead and assign this task to multiple resources. So I'm going to assign it to myself and Charlene, and we can see that that increased the hours from 40 to 78 hours here. And I want to see how those tasks are broken out between people. So in the assignments view here, I can go to group by task, and I can find that task here, and we can see that it actually gave me 40 hours and gave Charlene 38. Now let's say that I want to adjust this, I can do so. So the task starts on 12/16, and I'm currently viewing this by daily here. So it's going to be broken down this way. So I can come in and start adjusting this. So let's say I want Charlene to actually do a majority of the work. I can adjust this and give myself 4 each day, and then increase Charlene's to 8. And as I do this, it's also going to adjust the total hours of the task, as you can see here. So now it's a 60-hour task, of which I'm assigned 20 and Charlene's assigned 40. And I can also edit this as well to add additional days, as you can see here. Now, as we can see here, this is a weekend, 12/21/22, so I actually can't put any numbers in here. It's blocked. And that is based on my calendar, which we can see here. And we can adjust this. Let's say your working week is from Tuesday to Thursday. You can adjust that here, and you can choose from a template as well, which requires some configuration. So we can group by resource and still adjust the dates. So I can increase my overall task for this one. I can go back to this task and adjust it as well. So I can increase the length of this task too. Let's say it's 8 hours on this date, but only going to be 4 for this date. So we have created a basic plan and looked at those features available. And then we converted that basic plan into a premium. And then we utilized our additional features that we have for premium that we've reviewed here, such as our additional columns, which provide more granular control of aspects like percent complete, and the dependencies here where we can link tasks to each other. We looked at how you can create custom task fields, and the limitation on that is currently you can create up to 15 custom task columns. So if you hit your max 15 and you realize you need more, you can come back and delete one. So I can go edit, delete this field, and then it gives me that room to create that additional one if I did hit my limit. We also looked at the baseline feature and how this is going to be enhanced in the future with the capability to set additional baselines. As we can see here, my finish date has changed. When I was in the assignments view, I made it extend. So we can see here that it's running behind 14 days. So this is a good little feature to refer to. If I want to delete my baseline, I can do so by clicking here and setting a new one. We also looked at our filters and utilized Copilot and how we can utilize conditional coloring as well. Now to add additional users to the group, we can see here this is to create a group here. So right now it's linked to my previous one, but I can create a group and add additional members here. I can now create this group. And we look at all of our different views as well. such as the board, timeline, charts, people, goals, and assignments. And we also looked at our quick look column and utilized our task details here as well. Now we're going to quickly review my portfolios. So with my portfolios here, let's go ahead and look at one I've already created. So in the My Portfolios area, you can create a new portfolio and add specific plans to your portfolio and assign key dates to your different plans. So as we can see here, I've added these plans already in my portfolio, and we can add a plan by selecting Add Plan here, looking at any plan, and this will give me any plan that I'm on or that I own. And then we can see here who the plan owner is, the overall progress of the entire schedule here, the start date, the end date, and the status. When you add a new plan, it automatically puts it at not set or not started, but you can edit this here. So this is the status of that overall project. And then we can see here on roadmap, I can actually add key dates. So by selecting, for example, let's go to our plans area and add the one that we just created. So that's going to be our webinar premium plan. Okay, and then we are going to connect to this plan here. Make sure we have the correct permissions, and then I'm going to go ahead and connect to it. Now, something to note here is that keep plan data updated. The flow type is scheduled. So if I go back into my plan right now and I mark some additional tasks as complete, we're going to see that it's not going to automatically update this progress. It runs on a scheduled flow in the background when it updates these in your portfolio, so it's not automatic. So now that I've added this plan, I'm going to go ahead and set this to on track. And in my roadmap here, we're going to see that I have webinar premium plan, but no tasks currently added here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and up here I can say add row item, and I'm going to select which tasks I want to add from here. So here we have task, I want to add task 1, task 2, I'm going to add this summary task. So I can select these, or I can select add all milestones, all summary tasks, all top levels, and all milestones would be these here. So I'm going to go ahead and update this. It's going to say 10 connected row items here. It's going to add those on my schedule right here. Now I can see them nicely here. So there's my summary task, and here's this. When I click on this, I can actually assign a specific status to the task. So right now it's not set, but I can say this is, for example, at risk. This one's at risk as well. So looking at my schedule here, I can see all the plans that I've added here. And I can set some key dates. So monthly report due, I set this by adding a key date up here. So I can say critical review, and I can say this is going to be next week. And I can say it is at risk, add key date, it will add it to the top here. So I can edit this date as well. So it moves it a little bit here. And as I move this, we can see it move back in my schedule there. So this provides a nice little overview. Here we can see some tasks that I've added that don't have a start or finish date. So they're before in my line, as you can see here. And I can use this zoom filter to zoom in and out to give me a nice more overview versus zoom into these tasks. And I can look through this here. So this is a nice view, and I can add specific tasks to it. Right now, it doesn't necessarily have the ability to add all tasks unless they're specifically milestone or summary tasks. I can also utilize my go to date function. So I want to go to the date 18. So now it's going to start here. This will be by the 18th. Or I can say go to next week. What does my next week look like? As I can say, this one is running behind, so it's high risk. Now, currently, there's not a way to export this view here. Let's say I want to put this in some type of presentation. There's not currently a way, but it is on the roadmap, a way to be able to, on the roadmap for what's going to be released. There is going to be the capability to export this to a nice image. So does anyone have any questions? Okay. Well, so today we covered basic plan versus premium plan and some resources that we can utilize, such as this website here, to determine which one we need for our plan when creating one. We also looked at different areas of Planner app versus Planner within Teams, as you can see here. We built a basic plan and then converted that to premium and utilized those features. And then we also looked at my portfolios and how we can add multiple projects onto a timeline roadmap and view those on a roadmap view here with key critical dates across all projects. So Erin, I'll go ahead and hand it back to you.
Thanks, Stella. As you all are going through Planner on your own, if any questions pop up, please feel free to contact us. We're happy to help. I know this was a really quick overview. I also wanted to mention that if Planner doesn't have quite the capabilities you're looking for, if you're doing some more heavy lifting or have a full PMO, we do have a Planner accelerator that extends the capability. These are just a few of the features that we do have in the accelerator. And if you'd like a demo of that, please reach out to us. We'd be happy to do that for you. And if there's no other questions, I just want to say thanks for joining us today and taking the time. All right. Thanks, Stella. Thanks, Charlene.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a good day, everybody.